And it's Ken Kraetzer for CBSI Services. We're in New York City at Frankfurt, Kernet & Klein's for a great session on what's next for social media and get a chance to talk with author David Kirkpatrick, wrote The Facebook Effect. And David, reading your book, one of the things that stuck out to me was in the early days of Facebook that they had to really scrimp, find additional resources. Every time they came up with another million users on the system, they had to go find another investor. How did Facebook able to scale up to be able to handle 2.2 billion participants now?
Well, I think their ability to scale is one of their most impressive achievements. They never really had major hiccups during their growth, but they were very fortunate in the early days that they could, in effect, gate their growth by not allowing more colleges to go on until they had the server capacity to handle them. But once they moved to people, adults, they even still tried to do that by only allowing people in certain geographies initially to join, and they sort of grew that over time. But I think in recent years, their ability to manage their infrastructure is just spectacularly impressive, despite the fact that I have plenty of criticism of them for other matters.
And in terms of large brands, our company, we work with large financial brands, some of whom use Facebook to promote services. What is the key for Facebook to be able to keep the trust of large brands that are very image conscious?
Well, one of the things that I do believe, and it's a problematic fact, but Facebook is a media company. Any newspaper has always refused ads from people or companies that would make it look too bad in the eyes of its users or its readers or would hurt the lives of its community. And that's really what media companies have to do, is basically, as Zuckerberg says he wants to do, really put the primary focus on their community. But they're not really able to do that given the scale of influence and interaction that they currently host. So I think it's going to be very problematic for advertisers over time, and quite possibly they will start finding they don't want to be there. But it's all a matter of how good Facebook turns out to be in really controlling the content.
And you made a point I see all the time that local retailers, local organizations, nonprofits can effectively use Facebook for visibility and target their local communities to promote their services. Why is this underestimated? What does it take for more small businesses to learn how to use Facebook?
Yeah, one of the great things that Facebook offers the world is the ability for an organization like a small business or a nonprofit with a relatively small marketing budget to still have quite a bit of very focused impact among the communities that it cares about. And I think that's very catalytic for a lot of small businesses around the world. So I hope that answers the question.
Absolutely. Now, just tell us a little bit about some of your current writing. I know you mentioned you have a company and you have a conference coming up.
Yeah, I run a company called Techonomy Media where we put on conferences about how technology is changing everything. And we have some of the great speakers. Our conference in the fall is going to have Marissa Mayer, Tim Berners-Lee, Emily Chang from Bloomberg Television, a bunch of top executives from major companies, a lot of startup leaders, NGOs. We try to bring communities together that are diverse to talk about how tech changes everything, because it's so hard to take stock of the world that we live in and to understand how to be effective and to prevent harm from happening. And the issue of addiction is one of our top issues right now. It's just so problematic.
Where and when is that conference?
That conference is November 11th through 13th at the Ritz-Carlton Half Moon Bay outside of San Francisco. It's a 2-day retreat, very high-end, very exclusive, invite only, but anybody who wants to come should let us know. It's a great event if you really want to understand how technology is changing the world.
Very good. David Kirkpatrick, author of The Facebook Effects, from following Facebook from day one. Great to meet you here in New York at the seminar hosted by Frankfurt, Kernet & Klein.
Thank you, Ken. Appreciate it.
Ken Kraetzer for CBSI Services in New York City.